Without giving names, I'll give you the good and the bad. A good example is I think when clients become more and more savvy working with patents, what they do is they start looking at what's out there in terms of what we call patent landscaping, who owns patents, so on and so forth. And at one point, while they do that, they'll probably identify potential acquirers for whom their own patent portfolio may be of value. Then it becomes really cool, because when you pitch even to venture capital firms, you can say, you know what, we'll exit in X number of years. One of our exit is to be acquired by company A or B or C. And you know what? The patents that we own are probably going to fit very, very well with company C for this reason. And then you can demonstrate to venture capital firms or your shareholders, whatever, that your IP, your patents is going to bring value to yourself, the company, the shareholders, so on, so forth. And we've gone through that with a client where really a European VC really got how the patent portfolio of that particular client was bringing value and why it would be of value to a potential acquirer. Because don't forget, whether it's a startup or an SME generally, you're not going to go out in the US and sue anyone for patent infringement. Chances are, sometimes you will, but it's going to cost millions and millions and millions of dollars. But if you're a startup and one of your exits is an acquisition, to a potential acquirer, the patents may be of value and could be used in litigation, whether in US and Europe, whatever. So it's with that in mind that you adopt a patenting strategy. So that's example number one. Example number two is a good friend of mine who went into business, has been extremely successful, recently raised over 50 million in capital, e-commerce platform, and was very lucky that he was successful early on, because when he launched his business, didn't really understand that what he did was protectable by patent. Didn't look at the patent landscape, and if he had, he would have found out that he had a competitor in the US who was having a lot of fun suing competitors for patent infringement. And if he would have determined that very early on, he could have developed differently, maybe, to try and stay away from those patents. He could have maybe filed his own patents and counterattack or whatever. But he could have adopted some measures to protect himself and his company. But he didn't know, so he didn't do that. He ended up being sued in the US and Canada, so on and so forth, and had to spend over $20 million to defend himself and his company. Again, very successful. Eventually won all those lawsuits and raised recently $50 million, has over 200 employees, etc., etc. So the story ends well, but if he had done things properly from the get-go, and what I mean by that is, again, simply looking at the landscape. Who's out there? Who owns patents? Are they problematic? Not problematic? It's just, that's the first thing to do, and you can do it yourself. You don't even have to go through a professional and pay a lawyer or a patent agent to do that.